Russia says let's do more business. America says we'll sanction anyone doing business with Russia. India is in both conversations. A cabinet that's not being reshuffled has ministers flying to Delhi. The Red Fort blast just got its first major arrest. Let's connect the dots. Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint. I'm your host, Nelson John. This is your smart daily briefing on what matters. We cut through the noise so you start your day informed and ahead. It's Monday, November 17th. Let's get started. India and Russia are moving ahead with an ambitious target: $100 billion in bilateral trade by 2030. Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal wrapped up a series of meetings in Moscow on Sunday, reviewing progress on a free trade agreement with the Russian-led Eurasian Economic Union. Here's what's happening. The EAEU is a five-member bloc with a combined GDP of $6.5 trillion. Besides Russia, it includes Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyz Republic. The discussions focused on diversifying markets for Indian businesses, from MSMEs to farmers and fishermen. The terms of reference signed in August lay out an 18-month work plan. As the process advances, services and investments track will also be examined. In his meeting with Russian Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Mikhail Yurin, Agrawal explored ways to boost trade across pharmaceuticals, telecom equipments, machinery, leather, automobiles, and chemicals. Both sides agreed on quarterly regulator-to-regulator engagement to address certification requirements, agricultural and marine business listings, and other non-tariff barriers. The dialogue also covered logistics, payments, and standards to improve predictability for firms in both countries. Speaking at an industry plenary with senior business leaders from India and Russia, Agrawal encouraged companies to align their projects with the 2030 trade targets. He highlighted India's logistic upgrades and digital public infrastructure, emphasizing opportunities for co-investment and co-production. The ministry's statement summed it up, quote-unquote, "The discussions emphasized the need to broaden the export basket, de-risk supply chains and convert planned projects into actionable contracts that enhance value and volume, generating more jobs and long-term prosperity for people in both countries." India aims to deepen its trade and economic engagement with Russia as it works towards becoming a developed nation by 2047. Donald Trump says he's open to backing legislation that would sanction countries doing business with Russia. Speaking to reporters on Sunday, the U.S. president said Republicans are drafting a bill that would make it tough for any nation trading with Moscow. Trump's logic, is straightforward. Russia's trading partners are fueling the Ukraine war, especially consumers of Russian energy. This puts India and China directly in the crosshairs. He's previously called both nations primary funders of Russia's war in Ukraine. India has already felt the impact. In August, Trump imposed a 25% penalty tariff on India for fueling the war in Ukraine, bringing total tariffs on the country to 50%. China, despite similar threats, hasn't been penalized yet. Trump told reporters he may add Iran to the list as well. If passed, the bill would allow Trump to impose tariffs up to 500% on imports from countries buying Russian energy and not supporting Ukraine. Trump was initially hesitant, having tried to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine, but after those talks collapsed, he's now backing these aggressive sanction approaches. Meanwhile, India and Russia aren't slowing down. As I mentioned earlier, on Sunday, both nations reaffirmed their goal to reach $100 billion in bilateral trade by 2030 and reviewed next steps for a free trade agreement with Russia-led Eurasian Economic Union. Karnataka's Congress government is facing fresh uncertainty. A series of meetings in New Delhi has triggered speculation about cabinet changes and potential leadership shifts. Home Minister G. Parameswara suggests the party is moving towards a cabinet reshuffle. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah met leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi in Delhi, though he publicly said they only discussed the Bihar election. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar, who stayed back in Delhi after cancelling a Hyderabad trip, said he had no information about any reshuffle. Despite repeated denials, pressure has been mounting within the party. With the winter session starting December 8th, the government has one vacant cabinet berth. Party leaders in Delhi said 8 to 12 ministers could be replaced if Congress President Mallikarjuna Kharge approves the plan. About a dozen legislators have been named as top contenders for ministerial positions. The National Investigation Agency has arrested Amir Rashid Ali, one of the main conspirators in the November 10th Red Fort blast that killed 11 people. For the first time, the agency referred to the driver as a suicide bomber and the car as a vehicle-borne IED. Ali, a plumber from Kashmir, owned the I-20 that exploded near Red Fort. He allegedly conspired with Dr. Umar Nabi, who was behind the wheel when the vehicle blew up. Ali had come to Delhi to facilitate the purchase of the car eventually used in the attack. The NIA has examined 73 witnesses and seized another vehicle belonging to Umar. Investigators are tracing a white-collar terror network spanning Jammu and Kashmir, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. The United States has exempted agricultural and processed food items from reciprocal tariffs to combat domestic inflation. The move benefits India's exports, which took a hit after Donald Trump's April tariff announcements. Trump's executive order, effective November 13th, scraps tariffs on coffee, tea, tropical fruits, nuts, spices, and other commodities. The exemption covers 254 products, including 229 agricultural items, accounting for around $1 billion of India's exports to the U.S. Indian exports to the U.S. fell 12% in September after Trump imposed 50% tariffs on India, the highest for any U.S. trading partner. Tea, coffee, spices, and cashew nuts were hit the hardest. India exports most spices to the U.S. worth $358 million and tea and coffee products worth over $82 million. That's all for today. Thank you for joining in. We're looking forward to our next Top of the Morning episode, which will be packed with the latest in news. This is Nelson John signing off. Have a great Monday.